Hey everybody, welcome back to Champ & Sons in our PGA 2K23 series, where we are at the Fellowship Open and the Korn Ferry Tour, event number 2 of our Korn Ferry season. And this tournament was, pretty consistent for us actually. We've set ourselves up in a pretty good position, starting this one out to try to finish up on the top. Which, keep in mind, there's only like 6 events. You got to win 3 of them or finish in like the top 25 to get your PGA Tour card. So in reality, the earlier we can finish these off, the quicker we can reach our goal, which is the PGA Tour. Now, this course is not the easiest course in the world. This one is being played at, I believe it's Thieves Landing, if I'm not mistaken. And this course has got a lot of twists and turns to it, plus a lot of hills, right? So that's why you're seeing some of our highlights from the previous rounds are us having to chip in, because our short game has had to come in real handy for us in these first 3 rounds to set us up to where we are today in this episode here. So it's good to be able to have the short game. Our putting is going to have to be on point. One thing with these greens is they're not very flat. And some parts that are flat, they're really bordered by some steep slopes. So it's something that we're going to have to watch as we go on and as we get this round going. Like I said, this is the final round. We are in a good position to give ourselves our 2nd straight victory here. We are in first place, 15 under after 3 days. So some good play, but really most of it's been coming off the short game and chipping rather than overall just great approach shots into the greens. So here we are, hole number 1. We're going to start out. Look at the kick it takes right off that fairway slope, and that's going to set us up with a good about 200-yard shot into the second for our second shot here on this par 4. Now this is a big green, but see how you have the flat side, and it's not even all that flat. There's still some slope to it, but it really gets steep off in some of those points. So we're going to try to play this with the wind here, 200 yards out. As we hit that one, it should land pretty well on the green. We just need it to stick and hold up some, and it will. And use the green to our favor as the ball kind of tracks right back towards the hole, and that's got to keep going just a little bit further. But it does stop right there to get us set up about 5 feet away for the birdie opportunity, which is exactly how you want to start off your round. So a 5-foot birdie opportunity, left to right break. As we send that one home, and that's going to drop in right there, and that's going to put us at 16 under here for the tournament after hole number 1 on day number 4. So a good way to start. And that's exactly what we needed. Now Carter Casey is in 2nd place at 14 under. Ronald Keene is in 3rd at 12 under. So we've only got a 2-shot lead, which that can be lost in a single hole. So we will have to be careful with it. Hole number 2 is going to be about a 375-yard par 4 here. The green is positioned on the right, or the flag is positioned on the right side of the green. The hole does look pretty straight on, but you have the green surrounded by a lot of sand and a lot of thick stuff going on there. And so we will drive that one. It does hit in the fairway solidly and leaving us about 70 yards to the pin from where we're standing. Wind is going left to right, so you got to be careful when you play that some. But also with the height of where these greens are positioned for our 2nd shot. As we get this one lined up with a little lob wedge and a pitching shot, as we hit that one up, he didn't like it, but that's going to hold up and it needs to stay right there. And that's going to be a beautiful opportunity for a 2nd straight birdie. Another 5-foot putt is all we need. Here, this one is going to be slightly uphill, so we send that putt to it, and it's going to clip around and in as we get back-to-back birdies to start this tournament. Round number 4 here at Thieves Landing. So 17 under, Carter Casey maintaining his 14 under after 2 holes. Hole number 3 is about a 550-yard par 5. The really thin portion of the fairway that you're hitting into, so we got to be careful to put a good solid shot on that one, and we pushed it just slightly. So, but I still think we got enough to land in the fairway, and we do, and it's going to hit and roll. And use that slope to our favor as it sets us up with a pretty good position here for the 2nd shot. Now we have 260 yards in. We are going to be taking a 3-wood off the fairway. I want it to land a little softer, so we try to put some loft on that bad boy. As we put the stroke on it, a good solid swing, and that ball should land right where we need it. And if it's not going to get on the green, that's going to set us up with a perfect little chip shot. And it's going to roll just shy of the green, so we will have a good opportunity with the chip as we will be using our lob wedge. Try to get this thing set up to land and roll. I don't want it to roll past the hole and then go off the green. Not the best place to be in, but need to be careful with it as we do hit that past the hole, and it doesn't hit the slope. Thankfully, it didn't hit the slope. 6 feet away for birdie. Try to go back to back to back, 3 straight. Let's see if we can't send this one in. A little right to left break, 6 feet away, pretty flat for the most part. As we send the putt in and we don't play enough break. Oh my goodness, we didn't play enough break. It looked more flat than it was, and so we send that putt by, but we do come back with a par. Now Carter Casey dropped a shot down to 13 under on that par 5, and so we do have a 4-stroke lead now coming into the 4th hole, which is going to be a par 3, about 190 yards, hitting slightly into the wind. We do need to be careful because this green is pretty well below elevation-wise we are teeing off from. So we need to be careful as we take a 5-iron, put a good swing on it, but it looks like we're going to pull that to the left side and may have hit it just slightly too hard. You don't want it to land in the sand trap, and that's going to hold up just shy of the bunker and actually be in the heavy rough. So now we're going to have a little chip shot up here. Maybe we can get the slope of this green to play for us. As we're about 20 yards away, we want it to land just past the fringe. As we send that one up, it does bounce actually on the fringe, and that's going to send it down one slope to the other, and we're about hole high here for a par putt. So now we got about 9 feet away for par, slight left to right break, and slightly uphill. So we send the putt home, and that's going to fall right into the cup there. Good way to save par on that par 3. So 2 under after 4 holes here in the final round of the Fellowship Open at the Korn Ferry Tour. Actually, it's a Grayson Classic. My bad. I think the Fellowship Open may be the next tournament after this one. The Grayson Classic at Thieves Landing. I've been calling it the Fellowship this whole time, and we're not quite there yet. And so now we are on the 5th hole. It's going to be a par 4, 392 yards as we send that one perfectly down the right side, which is where we need it to be because there's a lot of slopage over there. As you can see, it kicks right off. And a great job hitting that one right by that rough. If we were to land in that rough, that ball was going to stop dead in its tracks. So now we got about 100 yards remaining. We do have our pitching wedge out, which is not our strongest shot to hit, coming at this pin. So about 102 yards away as we try to get this one lined up with the wind coming from our back about 4 miles an hour right now, give or take. As we get this set up, put a good solid swing on this one, which is rare for a pitch shot for us. That's going to land just shy of the hole, and it rolls up, but it checked up too early. I thought it might get a little bit more roll out of that one. So we will have a birdie putt for about 10 feet now, right to left break, going just slightly uphill. So got to be careful we don't hit it too strong, but need to give it enough to get there. As we continue to get this putt lined up, we're going to send it on its way. We have it, and it's going to, not enough speed. We didn't put enough on it, and it just barely missed the cup. And so now we'll make par. So start out 2 birdies and then come up with 3 straight pars after that, and we're 2 under after 5. Now the 6th hole is a 547-yard par 5 here. With a pretty thin landing spot for us, but I think we got this one as we do push that a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad with the way the wind is working for us. And that's going to land in the fairway and actually does get a good bounce as we get this tee shot just around 310 yards. So about 245 yards to the pin from where we are sitting. We do have our 3-wood in our hand. As you see, we are changing to the 5-wood, trying to figure out where we actually want to land this thing. And now we're going to take the 5 hybrid. I kind of would trust myself to pitch this one better, because if you take a 3-wood, you might fly over too far. 5-wood, same thing. or 5-wood might be too short. Now this one's tracking right towards that bunker. I do need it to hold up and stop. It's going to land, bounce, and it gets stuck in the heavy rough right there. Well, yeah, that's better than the bunker. I'll give it that. So, take the positive, glass half full kind of guy here. Now with our third shot on this par 5, we're about 25 yards away, just in the heavy rough right by the bunkers that border the green on the front side. Looking to land this one just past the fringe and try to get some decent roll out of it. As we hit and land that one, and it's racking right towards the pin, and it's in! What a shot! Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Willie smacks that one in for an eagle, and that's the short game coming into play for us right there. What a great job coming through on that shot from 25 yards out as he hit the pitch solidly and it bounced, and I'm glad it did hit the pin. That ball was probably going to roll a pretty good distance had he not hit the pin. And so that one does fall in, and that's going to send us to 4 under in the front side through 6. Our lead over Ronald Keene now, who's at 14 under. Carter Casey's at 13. Ronald Keene is at 14 under, so 5-stroke lead at this point. Now here comes the 7th. It's a 370-yard par 4, but pretty well uphill from the tee box all the way to the green. And we're facing about a 4-mile-an-hour wind, 4 or 5 miles an hour. As we do tee that one off, try to land it in just a wider zone of this fairway, a safer landing spot, not trying to push it too much, be too risky with it. This lead could disappear way too quickly for that. So our second shot, our approach shot, is going to be about 100 yards away on this 7th hole. As we line this one up right there at the 100 yards, 4-mile-an-hour wind left to right. We do have our pitching wedge out for this shot. Want to be careful to avoid that bunker in the front. Got to put on a solid little shot from here. Willie pulls it back and sends that ball right there. It's drifting to the right, though. I'm not liking where this is going. Bounces off the rocks bordering the bunker and drops right into the bunker. We didn't take elevation into play on that one, so our mistake there. Now with the bunker and the elevation that we're at, we are taking our sand wedge. One thing, if you see that steep slope coming up right behind the hole, I'm not going to be too afraid if we hit into that slope because it should come back at us. As that one will bounce, and there's that slope I need it to play for us here. And that's going to be tracking right back towards the hole. It's got some decent speed, and it goes right past the cup. And it stops right there. Beautiful shot. Way to set ourselves up for a par. 3 feet away, little right to left break, and just send that one delicately into the center of the cup. Keeping us at 19 under here through 7 holes in round number 4. Thanks to that eagle chip in 2 holes ago. Now we approach the 8th. It's going to be a par 3, pretty much all uphill from the tee shot. Playing about 163 yards, really playing at about 173. As we get a good hit on that one, but you need it to go. You don't want to be on the bottom side of this slope, as we are not going to get on top of it. And look at this ball just roll right back down. So that's going to leave us about 40 feet left for the putt. Now, the way this slope is going to be, I'm not going to play into that too much. I'm going to try to I've seen this done before in a tournament. It's the only reason why I did it. I'm going to try to chip this one off the green straight into the top side of that hill right there and use that to help me stop the shot. And it does a beautiful job. Really needed that trickery in my bag. And that leaves me a 4-foot putt for par. Trying to avoid dropping a shot here on the front 9. As we get 4 feet left to right break, pretty steep. As we send that putt on through, and we play too much break this time. Too much. And that's going to put us 1 foot away for our bogey putt, which will send that one in. So now our lead is only 3 shots, and this time sticking over Ronald Keene, who's tied with Carter Casey at 15 under par for the round. And we're sitting at 18 under. We approach the 9th hole. It's going to be about a 430-yard, 425-yard par 4 here. Wind is going slightly into our face and to our left. As we hit that one, try to play with this little bunker. Can't see if we can't get a good solid bounce off the fairway there, as we do get a good hit Now that wind and the elevation played with us. The drive only went about 285 yards, leaving us about 145 more to go here for our approach shot. So as we line this one up and get set, 145 yards, just slightly above where we're hitting right now. We got a pretty solid standing. As we hit that one, push it little to the right though. Need it to try to come back at for us, and it's going to bounce, and it does end up almost hole high, it seems like. But we did push that one, came through a little quicker than I wanted to. And that's going to leave us with 13 feet for birdie on the 9th hole. We're 3 under on this side after the bogey on the previous hole. As we send this birdie putt home, and that's going to lip out right past the cup. And this is going to give us about 3 feet for par as we put it right back in. And that's going to give us a par. So we're 3 under on the front side. Now a 2-stroke lead over Ronald Keene, sitting at 16 under. Carter Casey's 15 under and in 3rd place. Now the 10th hole is going to be a shorter 423-yard par 4. As we approach it, wind is pretty much into our face, but not very strong. And we're going to take this more down the left side. We do have the water on the right, but the fairway does slope back down to the right. As you see that ball kick off, the fairway does slope, so we wanted to avoid any kicks that could put us in a hazard. Now our second shot's about 120 yards away. The green is elevated about 10 feet above where we are right now, so we will have to take that into account. As we hit our second shot, it does look to be tracking pretty well. Need a good bounce though. And that's going to hit, and it will stop right there, 8 feet from the pin. A great shot by Willie to set himself up with a beautiful birdie opportunity. Here for the par 4 10th, 8 feet away, slightly uphill, sends that putt home, and that's going to drop into the cup. Beautiful putt from 8 feet, and that's going to drop back to 4 under on the day, 19 under for the tournament. Here, trying to just increase that lead. Cannot rest too much. Ronald Keene still sitting at 16 under through 11. Casey Carter, he's in our group at 15 under. Hisashi is at 10 under and sitting in 4th place. So the 11th is going to be a par 3. The elevation is way down low, right? But it kind of gets you stuck in one of those weird club phases, especially with the wind at our back. We hit that one and push it to the right. We got to be aware of the landing spot. As that ball is going, we hit our 5 hybrid, and it's going to actually land soft enough, but look at the slope on this green. As that ball tracked about 20 yards, it seems like, on the green, setting us up 42 feet away for a birdie opportunity. Left to right break for the most part along this hole, and that steep slope is definitely going to play a little bit more with this thing as we get closer to the hole, and I don't want to push it by and have that slope damage me too much. So we send that putt there, playing it safe, and that's going to stop right now. Ooh, maybe it's not going to stop. And there, ooh, it finally does after 5 feet. Well, that's what I meant by the slope. If I had hit that any harder, we'd be about 10 to 15 feet away. So 5 feet coming back for the par opportunity as we knock that putt in, and that's going to be 1 under on this backside. Still a good save for the par based off that tee shot. A good save. So now we only lead by 2 strokes. Ronald Keene is at 17 under. Casey Carter 15. Hisashi's 9 under. Jinwoo Lee is at 8 under for the tournament, and he's in 5th place. So the 12th is going to be a par 4, a little shorter, 362 yards. Now the wind is at our back, but the hole is pretty much straight uphill for us. So we're going to try to dance around a couple of these bunkers here as we hit that one and hope to get a good solid landing spot for us. Hits off the fairway, need the roll to play for us, and it will, as that ball stops right next to that second fairway bunker. Leaving about 75 yards, we do have our sand wedge out. Going to be trying to play with some spin and the wind on the shot, but we do have to be careful. As we take that shot, and there it goes, it's tracking right at the pin. It looks like just needed to get a good roll, and instead it hits the slope of the green. And the ball's still rolling. That's what I'm talking about with the slope right there, is that can happen anytime. So I'm trying to be careful with it now. Here's our third shot on the par 4 12th from just off the green. We take our lob wedge, send that one right at where we think it needs to be, and it will stop hole high, leaving us with 4 feet for the par putt and a pretty steep left to right break. We send that one there, and it's going to drop in. It does hit the right side of the cup, though, but it does drop, and we escape with a par. So 1 under on the backside, 19 under for the tournament, 5 under for the day. No, 4 under for the day. Sorry. Forgot about that bogey. So 19 under. Our lead is now by 3 strokes over Keen. He dropped to 16 under after he finished the 13th hole, which is where we are net with a 9-iron here for this par 3, 150 yards. But look at the slopes on these greens. We have got to be careful with it. Now, the wind is going right to left, so that should actually help us, as long as we can land on that flatter part at the front side of the green there. And that ball is drifting to the left side a little further than what I wanted it to go. It's going to hit that slope, and now you just need to hope it stops. But it looks like it's tracking right towards the hole. Are you kidding me? And it's going to stop right next to it. What a shot. Little luck right there on that one. Better lucky than good sometimes, as we're now set up 2 feet away for the birdie opportunity. And Willie just knocks this one in. He's now got a 4-stroke lead here in his 2nd Korn Ferry Tour tournament, the Grayson Classic, being played here at Thieves Landing. The 14th hole is going to be a par 5, dogleg to the right, 500, about 65 yards. Pretty wide fairway. The wind isn't playing too much of a factor in today's round, which is actually pretty good for us, because it has before. But it's just one of these courses that can really play with your mind as far as the elevations go. And that drive just shy of 300 yards trying to hit up into that one. So now with this big green in front of us, we got a little left to right wind, about 290 yards remaining to the pin. But we're going to take a 3-wood off the ground and try to get a good bounce and roll, because it's going to hit and go straight downhill to the cup. As we get a good hit off that hill, and there goes the roll we were talking about. Now I just need it to continue. And it actually rolls onto the fringe. So we're not on in the green in 2, but we will be able to obviously get on in regulation, and I actually like being set up right there. The way our short game has played for us, I think that's a pretty good position to be in. So the green does break slightly over to the left. We send that little chip up and over. That should hopefully drop, and that's tracking right at the pin, actually. And that one's going to be in, too! Another eagle from off the green. Oh, my goodness. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Willie is not playing around today. His 2nd chip in for eagle on a par 5. And that's going to put him at 21 under. As that's got to set him up pretty well. Actually, 22 under through 14. And that's good, because Carter Casey's making a late charge. He's at 17 under. He's 5 strokes back, as we both just finish up the 14th hole. Now on the 15th, 4 holes remaining, sitting at 22 under. We got about a 457-yard par 4, taking driver off, because I ain't no punk, and hitting the 3-wood, and we kind of push this a little to the right. I need a good bounce from it, and we will kick off the slopes there actually pretty decently and into the fairway, but the ball rolls back at us a little bit. So now sitting with the ball just above our feet. Actually, we're hitting 188 yards for our approach shot. We do have a 5-iron in our hand. Need to be careful how this is going to come off the slope. As we push it to the right to try to play with the bounce. And that one is going to land on the green, and it is going to keep rolling a little bit. So, hey, we're on the surface. That's all I can truly ask for in this one. So this putt is going to be about 22 feet away from us. Slight right to left break. And I say slight because it doesn't really break all that much to right around the cup. And it's pretty steep around the cup, but you're fairly straight to that point. As we send that putt home, and we played it just not enough distance. As that one comes up, and that's going to be 1-footer for par. As we par the 15th hole and remain at 22 under for the tournament. 3 holes remaining and a decent 5-stroke lead for us. That only, I think, this is one of those rounds or tournaments that they're not going to beat us. We're going to have to beat ourselves in it if we lose this thing. So on the 16th, it's a 315-yard par 4. It's well below where we're at, and it's actually reachable on a drive. You just want it to bounce correctly. Because we're going to be hitting into a little rough spot and landing. I just don't want it to kick into the bunker. And that one is going to hit, and it will bounce beautifully. Now there's a steep slope there on the left side as that ball starts to roll back down to the right. And that should set us up pretty well, but the ball's still going. I need it to stop for a second. So we do reach the green on this par 4 here. And that's going to give us a great eagle opportunity that we can try to sink this one home and basically put the nail in the coffin on this tournament with 2 holes remaining. So 22, we're about 27 feet away. The cup is pretty well uphill from where we are at, and a pretty strong left to right break. So we send that putt on its way, and it's not going to get to the pin, but it will stop fairly decently. 4-foot putt for birdie. And even, if you got a 3-putt, you got a 3-putt, so be it for the par. But here's a birdie opportunity from 4 feet. Heavy right to left break, and Willie knocks that one in. That's going to put us at 23 under for the tournament. 6-stroke lead over Carter Casey. 2 holes remaining in this one. We might if we just par this hole, I think we can seal the deal and go ahead and give us the win. So 215-yard par 3. We got our little 5-wood off the tee. It is pulling to the left a little further than what I would like to see it do. And it's going to land, and we get that one to kind of check up some with the slope that we put on the swing. But here comes the ball rolling right back down thanks to the slope on that green. And it's going to settle in right. Pretty good distance away from the cup. Not where we wanted to be at. So we're about 39 feet away. It's weird, the little left to right break at the end, but you start out at right to left break. And I hate putts like this. I really do. Trying to figure out how much the initial break is going to affect it. So we send that putt on in after reading the green, and that's actually tracking pretty well. And we didn't hit it hard enough, which is kind of a shocker there. But it does leave us with 3 feet left for the par. Still a left to right break. And we send that one into the cup to drop it. And now we have got ourselves 1 hole remaining. Carter Casey dropped a shot and is tied for second with Ronald Keene. He needs a birdie to get second all by himself. 18th hole is going to be a par 5. We are sitting here at about a 7-stroke lead, 23 under for the tournament, as we drive that one right down the middle of the fairway. A beautiful tee shot by Willie. His drives have done well for him in this round. Every other round we've hit into the rough and even some bunkers, so to avoid those today has been pretty solid for us. Now here comes our second shot. It's reachable, 250 yards to the pin, about 235 to the actual green. He takes a 3-wood and puts a solid stroke to it. This might end up pretty well here, and that's going to hit and use the green for our own advantage. But the green's kind of paying us back, and it does stop us hole high a little bit, but it's not going to be the easiest putt coming right back for the eagle. So here we are, the third shot, left to right break, 16 feet away. You kind of want to make it just to, what a way to finish a round with an eagle. As we send that stroke into it, and we played way too much break on it, and the ball does roll about 5 feet past the cup, leave us with 5 feet for the birdie. Now the same amount of break, we push that one. You gotta be kidding me. So now we hit it to 3 feet. Eventually we're gonna get it in for the win. Finally we drop it in. That one almost missed. We drop it in for the par. We will take the win in our second Korn Ferry Tour event here. Willie, back-to-back victories from the tour, at the tour opener, or season opener, whatever they wanted to call that one. All the way here to the Grayson Classic. Back-to-back wins. Good, solid rounds. We did struggle at times in the previous rounds. We had our bogeys. Not one round has been what you could say a bogey-free or semi-perfect round. But we've always bounced back from our mistakes, and our short game saved us in this tournament. You saw those couple chip-ins. That's how we got to where we were. All right, coming into that last day. So we will take the win, and that's going to set us up for the Fellowship Open at TPC Sawgrass, which will be the next episode as we try to get onto the PGA Tour, everybody. So stay tuned for that one. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this episode. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't hit it already. And I will see y'all at TPC Sawgrass. So until then, everybody, stay safe, and well, y'all know how it goes by now, right? Later, y'all.